Well, 2 weeks ago, we were in Central Florida, just on the East Coast, with the World Center of Racing opening the 2025 Area Cup Series season. The race was great. It was amazing. You saw 3-wide action, 4-wide action, even at points, and a caution-free race. Round 2, we welcome you to now South Florida of Homestead-Miami Speedway. 140 laps, a mile and a half, 210 miles worth of racing, and it all will be happening in just a matter of moments. We'll bring you to our studios here in Nashville, Tennessee to say hello and welcome. I'm John Ramos, the voice of the Area Cup Series, alongside Hunter Sleppy. Sleppy is going to be hanging out with us. Guess what? Daytona was fantastic. Do we expect the same great racing? I believe so. But Hunter, we have to go back and just diagnose what we saw there with the Area 500. Caution free. What's also changed since then? A new iRacing update. Homestead looks different. Daytona now looks different. And the drivers are saying their racing may be a little bit different. What are we looking at just moments away from the green flag?
Hopefully looking at some more great racing, but yeah, I don't know if we can top what we did last week at Daytona. It's hard to fathom a 1/1000th of a second finish to decide the winner of the Area 500 in Season 7 is between Jeremy Miller and Bailey Turner, a couple of 609 Motorsports teammates, and Bailey Turner just edged out his teammate at the last second, very last second he could do it. So he's got a clean, free ride to the playoffs so far. As long as he makes all the races, he'll be fine with that. But just going to leave Jeremy Miller a little more determined to put his car into victory lane. Also get to see the return of Season 6 Cup Series champ Jake Matheson, who won this race back in Season 5, the last time the Area Cup Series went here. I mean, absolute dominance. He led the most laps. He led 105 laps out of 140. Which is the scheduled distance for all the mile and a halves on the circuit. So going to be fun to see the different names mix in, along with Jake Nichols, as always, James Scioli, Blaze McKinney, Jacob Bell looking to mix things up as well, possibly throw his hat into the ring. This is his home track as well from the state of Florida. A lot of guys wanting to put out a good performance on the first mile and a half of the slate.
No, we're very excited to see how this goes, just because heading in, there's a lot of unknowns. For the ones that know, last week, iRacing updated the look of Homestead-Miami Speedway. We wondered if the track temperature was going to change, the racing quality would change. There's already been some buzz heading into this race that things aren't exactly performing the way they were on the old model. What kind of talk have we seen? Positive, negative? Maybe a little bit in between?
For the most part, not really as far as like the racetrack itself and the graphics, but it's been a lot of negative from what I've seen. Not many drivers can find a handle on the race car. Some are complaining that it's too loose. Some are complaining it's too tight. Can't really roll through the center of the corner. As soon as you hit the gas, car wants to die out, as Seth Knoll put it. But he does have a top 5 practice lap so far from what I'm seeing. So is Dylan Nolt, who's actually up a couple of thousandths of a second over Jake Matheson. So should be fun to see how qualifying works out for those guys, because practice can mean one thing. Qualifying, you got to put it to the test and get your car in a good spot for the race.
Now, it is going to be hot temperatures, a day race here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We mentioned it before. Win and you're into the area playoffs. Yes, Bailey Turner is in, but you still want to go out there and win every race that has to offer. Because after this, we head to New Hampshire, then it's Indianapolis, Watkins Glen. Yes, opportunities for different drivers to perform at their highest, and opportunities for drivers that probably aren't used to a Homestead-Miami Speedway to show up and show out. But if you don't win, you're going to need those points, because it's only 12 rounds before the playoffs kick off at Bristol. And guess what? That's back in June 2023, June 23rd here in the 2025 season. But you have till June 16th to go ahead and get a win before the playoffs start. You don't want to count on Talladega, where all the chips have got to be thrown in the middle and you got to go all out. I expect tonight to be huge for the Solar Flare drivers. You mentioned Scioli, but early on in practice right now, Okrezik is 6th, Bowie is 7th, Hall is 8th, and we all sit and wait knowing Homestead is going to be something very interesting as we're just moments away from kicking off qualifying. Hunter, big question there to you. Do we see a caution tonight?
I would say so, yes. I mean, if you ask me about the Pro Series at this track, I would say no, because in all 4 times that area has gone in, at least in the Pro Series side of things, there is yet to be a yellow. Seasons 1, 2, 4, and 5 all had no yellows, but in the Cup Series, we do have some yellows. We average about 4 cautions at this track. We've only been to overtime once. That was back in Season 2, and I believe that's when the championship was on the line for Jake Nichols, and either way, he came away victorious in Season 2 and Season 4. Mentioned Jake Matheson came away victorious in Season 5. He led the most laps in that race. The last caution for that race came out with about 11 to go, so could see a late yellow come in, spice some things up, but it should be fun nonetheless to see how these guys duke it out.
We are under 5 minutes away. Let's talk about picks, who we think we would see go to victory lane. Pretty simple, Hunter. Just pick who do you think has the best shot out of this field that's going to win here in round number 2.
Mentioned a couple of them. It's the Jakes and Jake show, pretty much. Jake Nichols, Jake Matheson. Matheson, the defending Cup champ, the previous winner here in Season 5. Jake Nichols, fast as always. He had 3 wins last year. He's won 2 times at this track alone. Should be fun to see that. Connor Horn's also a little bit of an underdog in my opinion. Performs decent enough on these mile-and-a-halves. Tries to put himself in a good spot. Wouldn't be surprised if he had a top 5 day. And then looking through, if Logan Clampitt comes through for this race, then he should be one to watch as well. Looking at some underdogs who could mix some things up. I'd say David Weishart in the 29. As long as he's here tonight, he'll have a good shot, maybe a top 10 run. Ricky Springer as well for Bowie Silver Esports. Those are the guys that I would look at throughout the course of this race.
You know, I'm going to go off on a limb here, and I'm going to talk about a team that the other teams and the other drivers are very vocal about during the Area 500. A caution-free race, you expect there not to be much talking. But with how that race went, they love talking about Solar Flare, how Solar Flare was working together. Now, you're not going to see a lot of working together as in drivers tandem drafting, keeping others at bay tonight, more of sharing notes on strategy with it being a 140-lap race. I think we're going to see Seth Knoll get his first win of the 2025 season, driving that number 1. His drafty car machine, it's been really building up a fan base with the viewers back at home. I think Seth Knoll, who currently is 5th in practice, could go top and win it all. You look at other drivers that have joined in, that have raced in NR now. Connor Horn, he's 15th currently, but in the early portions here of practice, I'm going to point it out right now, Hunter, a lot of drivers using one part of the racetrack. That's the bottom. And at Homestead, we're used to Homestead being multi-groove, but the last couple of guys I've seen rolling, it's been that inside. And we used to see that including with that old setup look with this car. Inside lane's going to work. Yes, you'll see them still using the entire track. But right now, predictability, I think the inside lane's going to be the way to go, at least early on.
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising to see more guys migrate towards the middle and eventually the outside groove, or the Larson line, as a lot of people like to call it. Get as close to the wall as you possibly can without hitting it. It's been a way of passing people in the past, and wouldn't be surprising if we saw that within the first 25 laps of the race.
Well, we did see a lot of greatness just 2 weeks ago. We're back with area in season number 7, the 2025 season, as we're here at round 2 at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Under 2 minutes remaining. Let's talk about what's coming on this entire week for the IDK Player YouTube channel. We are live Tuesday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. That for NR Night in America. For the ones that saw last week, yes, we did have a power outage. We will be back tomorrow to get through all the ARCA updates. Area will be back as well next Monday. That's going to be an exciting run as we work our way to New Hampshire. Still undecided about Friday. Friday is up in the air for multiple reasons. I will be going and working the ASA Stars National Tour race at Pensacola. In the next couple of weeks, there's probably going to be less Friday streams because every single week I'll be somewhere calling races in person. From sim to reality, you gotta love it. Just like how some of these drivers do sim to reality. It's the same way from the broadcast booth to the racetrack. Less than a minute remaining. Dylan Hall, I think he's projected to go quick time nonetheless, and that's exactly where he is. Top of the board in that number 47. What's interesting about Old Sleppy that these viewers need to know?
He's a little bit of an interesting dynamic. Not too many people in the area community have heard of him, but he's got some good speed underneath that 40. Is he even 47? I'm not sure.
SimStamp, they have it as number 47.
47. All right. Well, he's pretty fast. Was in a good spot to have a good finish at Daytona, and he's been fast over here throughout Homestead. He might be one to watch out for. Not too much info on him, at least from the area side of things, but if he keeps that speed up, more people are going to know about him.
It's going to be interesting to see what he can do with this crowd at hand. Homestead-Miami Speedway, Dylan Alt. We've seen Alt do great things in Florida before. He won a community event on this YouTube channel, the Daytona 2.4, that with the next-gen car. Practice has come to a close. We'll get ready to go trackside here in just a matter of moments. That is for qualifying. We got 140 laps of action ready to rock and roll our way from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. I'm John Ramos. That's Hunter Sleppy. This is the Area Cup Series, Round 2 from South Florida. First couple of drivers on the Speedway. Brett Puncari slowed down to the apron in turns 1 and 2. Puncari was just in the e-ticket event, that being the World Grand Prix. Had a great running and showing. Bailey Turner onto the Speedway as well in 25. Talked about him a good amount from what he was able to do at Daytona. Jeremy Miller, Ryan Swan, they have worked their way onto the Speedway as they get ready to put some heat in the tires, put some speed on down. Ford, Toyota, Chevrolet, all under that Florida sunshine that we hope stays the same in person as NASCAR works its way to the Homestead-Miami Speedway for racing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Camera angles mostly unchanged from what we had. We're on that old sim look, but what's different between this Homestead and the old Homestead? We start seeing all those palm trees. If you don't know anything about what Homestead is, well, it's located in South Florida. It's also the southernmost tunnel located under turns 3. And what's all the palm trees about? Well, they have a palm tree farm. Over 1,000 palm trees on property. It was not rendered in before. It is now rendered in now. Puncari, top of the board. First driver to go ahead and take a time. Peyton Howell looks to join him. Jeremy Miller, Barrett Polimas. Polimas drops back to 4th. Logan Clampett, top of the board in his 42 machine. Seth Knoll, new scheme for him this week. It's the Canes #1, and it's ripping back to 3 and 4. Miller, Brochu, Polimas, Swan, Bell, Springer, Knoll, Groner, Nichols, and others. Groner goes P4, Howell goes 5th. Scioli, no time just yet. He's on the transition of the apron, just coming off of turns 1 and 2. Jake Nichols will be coming in as well. These are the drivers that sat around and wanted to wait for what the time will be. So go ahead and beat. Currently, it's a 33.340 set by Dylan Alt in 47. Cosman on the Speedway. Driving now at number 24. Is that a new update?
It might be. I'm not sure if he switched his car number. I can double check on that, but pretty sure his car number should be 71.
Yeah, Yona Shiu is supposed to be 71 right now on our screen as number 24. And we know these drivers run different leagues, and you know they have to change in and out of their scheme, almost like when you change clothes to go somewhere, or you have a dress code in that case. Yona Shiu, supposed to be 71, driving number 24, works his way down the back stretch. Jake Nichols, same there in 73, yet to set down a time just yet. Should be able to get it as he works his way off turn 4 for the final time. And our Night in America viewers, Area Cup Series viewers, hello, welcome. Round number 2. Where do we see that 73 jump up? Try 12th for Jake Nichols. Adam Cabot. Logan Clampett still on the Speedway, P5. No one has been able to outduel Dylan Alt. Currently top of the board with now Scioli going second. Connor Horn on the apron in turns 1 and 2. Connor Opresic, super late model driver with the ASA Southern Super Series. Top end of the Speedway, that in 3 and 4. Homestead-Miami Speedway for so long hold the championship finale for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and NASCAR Cup Series. Now back to a March date. Last time they had a March date in person was in 2021. Originally it was supposed to be 2020, then it got moved to June. Now they're back here in March, just around that spring break time. Connor Horn still trying to put a time, and I believe we are bumping drivers. Are we taking 43 tonight, Mr. Hunter?
Sorry, I was a little distracted. I got a text message from one of the drivers. Could you play that again?
Are we taking 43 tonight?
I believe so, yes.
And that means we are bumping drivers, no doubt about it. Final seconds remaining, and it's going to be Ford Martin, Ryan Swan, Matt Stolnek out as well, Ben Pierce, Moroso, Jacob Bell, 47th, and will not be able to start this race. Unless they have charters, if I'm not mistaken.
Some of them do have charters. I'll get clarification on that, but Jacob Bell is up in the admin tower with Carter Coop and Ryan Olson, so they'll be watching from above.
So no doubt about it, we are leading it to green in what would be just about a matter of moments. They have one more shot to go out there, warm up, just so they can go ahead and bump drivers in and out going off of the charters. And that's what makes area so interesting. You see the charters in person and you think it's cool, but you don't really hear a lot about the charter system on iRacing. Talk to me about how that all came together.
With Homestead itself or area in itself?
Area in general.
Area in general. So we were, Jacob Bell in the off season, we were planning on working on a different league, and then he just had this idea of coming up with a different league in itself and just trying to branch away from the league that we were currently working in as things weren't going too well internally. So it was August 2021. It was during the ARCA race at Michigan. I remember it so vividly. He just said, you know what? We'll try this out and see if we can get any backing behind it with different drivers. And season 1 happened. It was with the ARCA cars, the trucks, the Xfinity cars, and the Cup cars back then when it was the Gen 6, and really built the foundation then and there. Then season 2, everything just kind of kicked up with different broadcast groups, different drivers coming in, more bigger name drivers. That's when Jake Nichols first stepped in, and then it just kept growing and growing from there on. And we are in season 7, and it's about as big as it's ever been before.
It is very big indeed. We got a great crowd watching back at home on this Monday evening as we're in the final moments here of the warm-up. Drivers being bumped in and out. Dylan Alt will be leading us to the green flag. We're very excited indeed to see how that goes. I think the last 2 weeks, a lot of these viewers had the opportunity to kind of diagnose what they saw with the Area Cup Series. The first time a league outside of the NR name being broadcasted full-time on the YouTube channel. First league to be broadcasted that wasn't with the NR Night group. That was OSRL on a Thursday night, and it was random. Just, hey, we need a broadcaster. IRP, can you do it? Sure, let's do it. And a lot of viewers started liking that because the racing was very different. The quality of racing here in area, I think, was put to the test at Daytona when we went caution-free. How one little mistake was going to be the difference between being in the main pack and losing the race. Tonight, we could see a repeat of that, but there's one thing every viewer needs to keep in the back of their head. When you have 43 drivers rolling around a racetrack, you expect greatness out of 43. One mistake, it could take a driver out, it could send them for a loop, and then next thing you know, as you just saw there from Connor Horn, calamity strikes. Cautions could wave, and even though Homestead is known for not having many cautions, it still could happen at a moment's notice. So a couple drivers putting down times. Jonathan Evans as well, final moments for him. To the viewers hanging out with us down below, we say hello, welcome, and thank you for being a part of our beautiful Monday night edition of League Night in America. Connor Lines dropping down the VIP pass. Very grateful for that. Yes, tomorrow night we will be back with NR Night in America. That's at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. And for sure, no stream this Friday. We'll be in Pensacola for the ASA Stars National Tour Sunshine State 200. We'll be conducting pre-race and calling the action over the PA. And from there, looks to be, if I'm not mistaken, 4 straight weeks of broadcasting in person. We do have e-tickets coming up. More information on that will be described tomorrow night. In the warm-up session, Connor O'Kresick does go top of the board. Let's see if we can chime in with a couple drivers. Brett Puncari, John Ramos, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got ya.
All right, Brett, hey, you're heading to Homestead. Completely different from what you had at Daytona. What's the energy feeling like? What's the confidence feeling like with the 140 laps standing in your way?
I think it's more of a miracle I made the field. I didn't qualify for Daytona, so I got the duels, but confidence-wise, it'll probably be the usual. I'll plummet backwards at the start because I drive the car way too conservative. Everyone else will be right on the chips, so practice, I thought the car was real evil on exit, but I think just the track being rubbered in a bit now, it's not that bad. I just gotta hope for like long runs as usual and pray for some sort of miracle, maybe a top 20 or something. So, because yeah, there's some talented drivers in here, and yeah, my short run pace is absolutely horrendous, and pray for a miracle for a long run. That's all I can say.
10-4 on that, Brett Puncari. We can keep up to date with him throughout the night, seeing what he can do. Bailey Turner, fresh off an Area 500 win. You're heading into round 2. Is the outlook into this race a little bit different than what you had 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I'd say I'm going from about the highest of highs to lowest of lows. Yeah, not too much confidence going into Homestead. Didn't put a whole lot of practice in, but also it's just been a struggle of a racetrack for me. So I think it's going to be a learning experience. I usually you know, try to be patient in these races and kind of let guys take themselves out, and hopefully can end up there in the top 10 and kind of keep a good start to the season going.
You said Homestead wasn't working well for you. What are some of the challenges?
You know, for me in this car, it seems like it's just, you know, managing that tire wear and also being fast at the same time just isn't a combo I've kind of figured out yet. You know, guys, I look at guys like Adam Cabot, Connor Horn, you know, some of my teammates over there, those guys know how to find speed on these 1.5 miles. So going to be trying to learn from them a little bit, and yeah, just keep this thing in one piece, try to be there at the end. Going
to be great to see, indeed, 140 laps of action. You are the defending winner already of this series, and you said that it's not looking, or at least the way it sounds, not very confident heading into this race, but at the end of the day, you know things can get turned wild in a hurry. Excited to see what Bailey Turner can do. Already locked in. Are you planning on running the rest of this season for sure, knowing that you're in the running for the playoffs?
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, you want to be there at the end, and I want to get the best playoff seeding we can get. So just barely missed the playoffs last year in the last race, so hopefully, you know, this season we'll put something together and make a run at it.
Going to be fun to see. Good luck.
Thank you.
That's Bailey Turner. We'll drop him back, and we'll get ready to see your starting lineup for the second race of the 2025 season with the Area Cup Series here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Left side of your screen, you see it. 6 Chevrolets up inside the top 7. A couple Toyotas joining that. 3 inside the top 10, so 7 in the top 10 for the bow ties. Not a Ford in sight, and we're going to be able to run down this field. Row number 1, how about you see it? Dylan All and James Scioli will be leading us to green. Row number 2, Michael Curran and John Hall will be lined up and ready to go. Row 3, Logan Clampett and Ricky Springer will be rocking and rolling all day, or should we say evening, long day in the sim. Row 4, Brandon Bowie has Jake Matheson to his outside, just previously mentioned, Season 5 winner here at Homestead. Row number 5, it's Brandon should we say Brandon Kettle with Adam Cabot. Row 6, Philip Groner with Connor O'Kresick. O'Kresick going quick time in the warm-up. Row 7, Payne Howell will be lined up with Jake Nichols. Row 8, Travis Beckner has Jonathan Evans to his right wing. Row 9, Reese Schaefer will have Patrick Mose ready to roll with him. Seth Berger and Jacob Brower will be back in row number 10. Row number 11, Seth Knoll and Connor Horn be lined up, bringing us around into 1 and 2. Justin and Asogak with Tyler Nichols Ready to see what they can roll under this beautiful Homestead sunshine. Row 13, Bailey Turner and Brett Pucari. Line up with row 14 being Jeremy Miller and Blaze McKinney. Row 15, Sam Brochu with Matthew Bell. Row 16, Josh Connell, one of the Lucky Duck drivers, with Lee Norton. Row 17, Hayden Swank with Tanner Betha. Row 18, Barrett Polimis with Garrett Grant. Lights off, we'll get the one to go, this time by Bryce Senesac with Cosmin Yonashinu. Ed Robertson, Mason Kane back in row number 20, Max Service, and Dwayne Culberson, row 21, with row 22 being Emery and Stolnick. Now that is based off of where they did go ahead and qualify for quick time. Towards the back half of the field, you'll see the change of the ones that are in based off of their charter and the ones that are bumped out based on them not having a charter. Racing at Homestead-Miami Speedway, always exciting, always fun. You get to really feel the energy of that South Florida crowd area. The owners, they're from Florida. First two races of the season start in Florida. Round one was exciting, caution-free, but 3x3. Tonight, they're going to spread out and rip top from sunny South Florida. Let's light the fuse from round two of the Area Cup Series. Logan, oh, trouble, one sideways coming off turn two. And scatters to the bottom. Philip Groner and the number 11 in the caution will wave right away. You saw Miller having to avoid and others joining on in with him. Caution free, 250 miles. Race one 2 weeks ago. 2 turns here at Homestead, and the yellow will wave for the first time. Did not take long. Let's watch the start. This is what Groner was seeing. And the drafty car 11. Payne Howe in 52. Does he get into him? Oh, yes, he does. Got on that right side, and around goes the 11. I would say almost reminiscent to what the Homestead race had to offer back in October with the NASCAR Cup Series. Instead of Groner going around in turn 2, it was Haley going around in turn 3, lap 1 of the event. Let's watch back once more, this time with an in-car view. And a quick turnaround before getting fired back off. Pit road is open. The drivers will come on in. Alt, Scioli, Curran lined in with them as well. With the pits being open, some drivers selecting to stay out. Sleppy, did we hear anything from any of these drivers?
Not so far as to pitch strategy, but as far as I'm concerned, Philip Groner called Payne Howell a bozo after the lap 1 incident in turn 2. His teammate, Payne Howell's teammate, Barrett Polimis, was ecstatic about the yellow coming out because he moved up 1 spot and jokingly went in there and said, hey, if we get 30 yellows, you'll be in the lead in no time, because that's how math works. 1 yellow equals 1 spot moved up for Polimis, but pretty tame for the most part, other than Philip Groner. A little bit annoyed at this start.
Annoyed indeed. He looked kind of back to where he was. You have Beckner, Bauer, Evans, you have Moose, Howell, Schaefer. That's kind of an area where you still have a lot of drivers that know that they can contend week in and week out. So unfortunately, a caution, yes, coming out in the opening lap here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, but the lights are off. We're getting ready to go again. Not too many drivers work their way on pit road, but therefore Groner having to restart in the 40th position in that number 11 machine. James.
One more thing. One more thing. As far as incident points for that caution, it does go to Peyton Howell, so he has +2 points on him, and I believe he'll have a end of the line penalty for next week's race.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can double check on that. We do have penalty points in the area. That's how we keep the cautions down to a minimum, and guys who continue to do so, they just get points added on, and then the penalties get worse and worse.
Well, we'll continue to chime in on that a little bit later on in the race. I know that's going to be an interesting topic throughout the running. Toyota Chevrolet will lead us to green. Scioli on the outside, Alt on the bottom, as the pace car makes a hard left onto pit road. One caution, one lap, 136 laps remaining from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Four wide off the gun, Brandon Kettle to the outside. Trying to squeeze his way through, Bowie. Still toe-to-toe with Cabot. The brace for turn 3, the run on the outside for multiple machines. Dylan Alt will come around to lead lap 1 under green. With 135 laps left in this race, 5 already in the books. Scioli, Clampett, Curran, John Hall back there in 5th. Matheson and Springer, you see it again, 3 wide, it's not going anywhere. Ricky Springer was loose topside at turn 2. Keeps it all wound up back in the 11th position. Nichols on the move, but like we saw in the practice session, most drivers working to the inside lane, while others are still trying to navigate that second and third groove. Scioli, the highest running Toyota, and if I'm not mistaken, the highest running driver in Solar Flare. Alden Clampett, 1-2, separated by about a car length and a half. And coming into this race, it looked like it was going to be the Dylan Alt show, at least early on. He still has company breathing down the neck. That's Logan Clampett in 42. That's not getting away. Jake Matheson has company on all ends. Cabot, Hall, looking to find a way through. Just deeper in the field, Travis Beckner, P10. He still has Springer, who has yet to move from the 11th position. Now he does as Jonathan Evans swoops to the bottom. Clampett is not done yet. Inside heavy racing with the next gen here at Homestead. Well, that's half a car length off the exit of the back straightaway. And Jake Nichols is one of the drivers that have yet to come down from that outside wall. He has made up time. You can see how much of a run he gets off corner exit. The question is, does it tear up the tires with how hard he is running? Switches back to the inside of 1 and 2. Puts Kettle to the outside. Brandon Hayes Kettle. Rolling in the 3rd position, Logan Clampett. And the Wounded Warrior Project Chevrolet. He's there. Does he make the move? Thought about a peek to the inside, had a whoa out of the throttle, and Dylan Alt will continue to hold reign in that top position. It was inside heavy just about 2 laps ago, but the escalator ride to the outside is starting to brew once more. Adam Cabot on the bottom, Jake Nichols. Trying to line up with him back in 5th. This is racing at Homestead-Miami Speedway. For the ones just tuning on in, we say hello and welcome as it's rush hour just east of the Florida Turnpike at Homestead-Miami Speedway, located in South Florida, just round 2 of the 2025 Area Cup Series season. 17 rounds that will complete July 28th of this year, well into the summer months. And we are glad to be broadcasting every race on the Idk Player YouTube channel. For the NR Night in America viewers that have come on in, yes, we are streaming tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, with updates on the e-ticket event to come. Battle for the race lead. Dylan Alt was forced off the inside white line. Logan Clampett taking advantage, but can't hold it toe-to-toe. Here comes Kettle to the inside of the 42. Clampett, yes indeed, is able to complete the pass from the pressure of the 80. And that's what makes this track so great. Progressive banking, 16 degrees on the bottom, 18 on the outside. You can go from defending a run to then being on the offensive in less than half a straightaway. Top 3 in a bind. Cabot back and forth. Jake Nichols back in 5th. We talked about Scioli earlier on the broadcast. He's got drivers in his mirror that would like to go up and contend. John Hall, Brandon Bowie, Michael Curran. Curran back in 9th. Jake Matheson back in 10th. It's Rowdy deeper in the field as there's a battle for the lead. Logan Clampett from lane 2 takes the race lead at Homestead. All back to 3rd. As a driver that led the early portions of this race now make it no more. 13 laps into the first 16, and Alt has to watch out. Who's behind him? That's Cabot. Inside, outside, shuffling about deeper in the field. Jonathan Evans, he's got pressure on the outside. Oh, Travis Beckner. Almost got turned off the nose of Jacob Bauer. Sam Brochu, Jeremy Miller, Connor O'Kresick, Blaze McKinney, and others. And this is what we like to see, still that multi-groove racing in full effect, well past the start of the race. The 3 wide runs, I don't think it's going anywhere. Nichols P5, Scioli P6, John Hall back there in 7th, Brandon Bowie in 8th. And then you got Ricky Springer in the 9th position, Curran in 10th. Pressure from Jake Matheson. Matheson in the 11th spot. As multiple drivers still looking to find a way through. Alt moves his way back into the 2nd position. Not so fast. Correction on the last name. I was saying Kettle. It's Cattell, if I'm not mistaken, there in the 80 machine. Adam Cabot back there in 4th. So apologies for any of the names that I may have butchered throughout this broadcast. Area still new to this broadcasting group here on the NR Night in America side. But Brandon Cattell drops back to 3rd. Cabot back there in 4th. Now goes toe-to-toe. Jake Nichols has been very fond of that outside lane, and this time it's going to work off turn 2. John Hall trying to make a move. Clamp it. He's checking out. And Brandon Cattell continues to work his way around this track very, very well in the 5th position. Logan Clampett said goodbye to Dylan Alt, but was Dylan Alt being conservative of the tires, maybe conservative of just the race pace? Still got 120 laps to go, 140 in this race. That exceeds the amount of laps that are ran in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Homestead-Miami Speedway. And that is 200 miles. Patrick Moose. Back in 14, 2x2. Jeremy Miller in 11th, and it's a split bag. Some to the inside, some to the outside. Others trying to make up ground to the center of the corner versus the runoff exit. The 3-wide racing has not stopped at all. Let's look at the lap by lap for Dylan Alt. Now early on was leading this race, grabbed 13 laps in this event. He has not been able to really stop the bleeding to Logan Clampett, at least before this run. A 125, 126 to the center of 1 and 2, which draws him even to his lap 22. Disadvantage to the 42 machine. When it comes to racing off exit, that's where Alt starts losing a little bit of grip. Runs a higher line above the first seam. That in 3 and 4. A 130 should slot him just about in the middle from his lap 22 to lap 23. We'll continue to watch the battle forecast between the top two. Nichols is on the move. As low as 14th at one point, currently running in the 3rd position. With Adam Cabot behind him, how did Nichols do it? Running lane 2, running lane 3, and inches off the outside retaining wall. He continues to roll with his bind. James Scioli not able to close that gap as much. Hasn't been outside the top 6 mostly at all during this race. And then Brandon Bowie. Top 13 the entire run, as high as 7th at one point, dropped back to 8th. And kind of riding around in no man's land. It's always fun racing here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Why is that? Because everybody knows every lap, every second, it is action-packed. So let's go ahead and turn it up. Whoa, trouble, one into the outside wall and scattering down the backstretch. Patrick Mose, I believe it was, getting loose off turn number 2, and he has junked up that right front. Keeps it rolling in the right direction, but oh man. That's a little bit more of a dent. Miller with damage as well. Let's go ahead and take a look back. This is coming down off turn number 2. No, it wasn't. It was actually the driver just ahead of him, and Jeremy Miller. Miller got loose, went into the outside wall. Patrick Moose, got a piece of it, and both drivers hurt on the right front of their machine. Still racing 3 wide. That holds on with the 24 machine in the middle of Michael Curran. Wow. And the battling, I don't think it's stopping. Three wide, how about four wide? Moose, Seth Knoll, Michael Curran. Tied off turn 2, and the evasive move by the one can net gain him at least 3 spots. Connor Horn will join into that mess as well. 111 laps to go, and this is the racing outside the top 15. Who's in the mix as well? How about Blaze McKinney in 87? Travis Beckner, Jonathan Evans, Josh Cottle in 13. Just gets in front of the 13 machine. Oh, should we say just getting in front of the 26. Goes the 13 of Cottle. I don't think that 3 wide stopping anytime soon. Beckner wants to get in front of the Ford, but the runoff exit is going to bring a newcomer. One sideways and spinning into the outside wall, and it's Philip Groner once more. Will come to rest just in the middle of the back straightaway, and the caution will wave for the second time. Wow. It has been the no good, very bad day for that Solar Flare 11. We'll take a look at a replay. On the inside, and he got held. That's Barrett Polimis in 79. And right when he gassed it up, drove just across the racetrack. Let's peek once again, this time at onboard. So a 2-car incident once again bringing out the caution, the second one of today between Barrett Polimis and Philip Groner. Groner involved in 2 incidents tonight. Logan Clampett will win the race on pit road. The replay sponsor is all Hendry County Motorsports Park. You guys love racing in Florida, whether it's Daytona or Homestead-Miami Speedway. How about the grassroots side? Hendry County Motorsports Park. You can go ahead and join them for different series nonstop with the Thunder Trucks, the factory stocks, and so much more that race over on that side of Florida. The southernmost dirt track in America. Homestead-Miami Speedway has the southernmost tunnel. Hendry County, the southernmost dirt track, located there in Houston, Florida, off Highway 2070. Go ahead and visit HendryRacing.com for more information. It's been an interesting running so far, comers and goers. Hunter Sleppy, what do you got?
We'll update on the entanglement between Patrick Moose and Jeremy Miller. So they both made contact a couple of times coming out of turn 2. Jeremy Miller had right side damage at first on the right rear, or right front wheel, I should say. And then Patrick Moose, I was in the channel when he made a correction into Jeremy Miller, and they both have right front damage. So I believe they got that fixed. Jeremy Miller had some left front damage as well, and Moose had some parting words for him over the radio. They weren't too pretty, but there was that. And then Tyler Nichols, not so happy that he was a part of that most recent caution, trying to avoid Philip Groner, saying this is dumb, I hate my luck, and that's about it. Everyone else is quiet over the radio. Some other guys were dissecting whether other drivers were shifting through the turns, and then they were trying to set up pitch strategy in case the race went green a certain length. So that's all thrown out the window now with the second yellow coming out.
You think we're in a fuel lottery situation, or too early to tell?
Some guys are trying to plan on doing one stops. It was a very few number, but I would assume that now that another yellow's come out, we would look at some people trying to make it on one more stop and trying to stretch the field as long as they can.
And 4 on that. Hunter Sleppy giving us great updates on what's going on in and out of pit road. 106, now 105 laps to go from Homestead-Miami Speedway. You're watching race 2 of the Area Cup Series. 2 cautions under the books. Logan Clampett leading to turn 1. Nichols, Scioli, John Hall, and others. All in a bind, back to turns 1 and 2, one up and near the outside wall. And that should have been Ricky Springer. All in second, Scioli holding on to that 3rd position. Top 2, mostly a breakaway, as 3rd, 4th, and 5th stuck up together. This is going to be the big 2 most of the night. Dylan Hall versus Logan Clampett. Hall, Jake Matheson, Cabot, Sam Brochu, just about 4 feet off the outside retaining wall. No look now, but Connor Okrezik hanging out in 11th. Inside, outside shuffling, Brandon Bowie trying to thread the gap any way he could, makes up an advantage on the bottom, shuts off the move to the outside. As the switchback in position. Just one driver out of this race thus far, Philip Groner. Back in that 43rd position, now leaves 42 drivers left racing, but it's very much on. Seth Knoll in 17th. On the offensive. Hay and Howe and others trying to sneak around. Howe underneath Brower. Bowie peeking underneath the 03. Just 100 laps remaining and a new race leader, Dylan Alt, but we see Clampett take it back before. Inches off the back bumper. He's going to get underneath him. Clampett wants it. Alt wants to keep his own. Chevy on Chevy for the top spot. Scioli, Nichols, 3rd and 4th. And don't look now, but Jake Matheson is hanging out there in 5th. Remember, he did win this race back in Season 5. Sam Brochu, Brandon Bowie, John Hall. And really, if you're outside that top 8, it's just an entanglement of machines. Inside, outside, others looking for an advantage on whichever side of the speedway. So while it's Alt versus Clampett for the top 2 spots, Nichols has been able to slowly creep on in. Look at the lap times at the bottom of your screen. He's about 7 tenths back, got to 6 tenths back. Currently predicted to be around 5.5 tenths back, maybe go back to just 6. But if he can see that top two continue to go back wheel to wheel, the closing rates will continue to add up. Just around half a second now the difference for the driver sitting in third. Scioli, Jake Matheson. Matheson underneath the 7, toe-to-toe. Brandon Bowie. Up to 183 miles per hour entering turn 1. Clamp it to the bottom as the racetrack. We're starting to see the inside lane become the most dominant force throughout this race. Early on, yes, you did see 2 wide, 3 wide. You still see that now as Cabot has Bowie to the right wing and Howell just underneath him. But within that top 3, top 4, they have proven already the inside lane is the fastest way around. And if they start spreading on out, we'll maybe start seeing an inch up if the tires start to play any type of rain in this race. B5 Scioli and Brandon Bowie to the outside, somewhat out of view. And that top 3 have closed on in. Jake Nichols is there. Less than 4/10 the difference to Dylan Hall. The question now, when's the move? Dark clouds forming just around this speedway. As of this moment, the weather says no chance of rain here tonight as the top 3 are lined up 1, 2, 3. You got a Chevy, you got another bow tie, and then the Toyota of Jake Nichols is there. Where's the Ford? Nowhere to be seen up inside the top 10 until you get the Josh Cottle and the Lucky Duck Motorsport machine. Clampett's got to worry about what's behind him and just the one spot ahead of him. That's the difference from punching your ticket to the area playoffs and still having to compete for points. There's the move. Nichols inches off the outside retaining wall. The switchback underneath of Logan Clampett. Jake Nichols will find himself into the second position. Bang, bang, and thank you, Mang. That's what he's saying. 2 drivers have have led this race so far. That being the 47 and the 42. We have yet to see the 73. Not so fast. Clamp it back underneath them. Wheel to wheel. And think about the winning driver averages. Jake Nichols won at Homestead in Season 2, Season 4. Didn't get it done in Season 5. But he is now put into the catbird position with the performance off turn number 2. Chevy and Toyota will now battle for the race lead. Solar flare, a hot topic. At the conclusion of the race at Daytona, they have a driver in hand to see if a win is possible from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Nichols to the outside, blocked by all. Drives it in deep to turn 3 and can lock it in. Jake Nichols, new race leader. Alt may have a shot coming off turn 4 to size something up to turn 1. Couldn't get to him. From riding a couple tenths back to now being the race leader. But not by much. Still less than half a car length between the top 2. Should even say the top 3. Clampett hasn't gone anywhere. Alt is there riding the back bumper. This is racing. This is league racing on the iRacing platform. Matheson in 4th. He's closing in as well. And with that, 2 previous winners here at this track are racing for the top spot. Nichols, Matheson just around half a second back. Clampett sits in 3rd, Alt sits in 2nd. Both Clampett and Alt had a shot at winning at Daytona just 2 weeks ago. And you heard Hunter Sleppy talk about it before. These drivers are going to try to get it done on a one-stop. Nichols, oh, too much daylight underneath, but the race off will get him back to the advantage. A peek once more to the outside, Dylan All. Switchback. A common theme tonight. Alt to the lead. That's in turn 1. Can Nichols charge up a run? Gets to the back bumper. Clamp it to the quarter panel. And very little daylight was shown between the Chevy and the Toyota. Dylan All back to the race lead. And how many laps did Nichols get? Just 4 at that. Logan Clampett has led 25 laps of this race. Dylan All 27. But don't look now. Jake Matheson, who has yet to touch the race lead, sitting in 4th, is on the scene, 4 tenths back. Clampett underneath. A heave to turn 1. Nichols in 3rd. Well, it fit like a glove in between the 2nd and 4th place machine. As Matheson is now starting to apply the pressure. 2 Chevrolets, 2 Ford, check that, 2 Toyotas up inside the Fast 4 with coming to 82 laps to go. Clampett is there. Pulls to the left rear of Dylan All. But couldn't get it to stick. He's just letting Alt know, hey, I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. 3rd and 4th. Matheson, Nichols. Matheson moves into the 3rd position. If you enjoyed the racing, you've enjoyed this broadcast, you want more of it, feel free to subscribe, notifications on, or drop a like on this stream. Helps us grow the area viewer base. And oh boy, do we want it to grow with how great the racing has been. Top 5 under a second, top 4 under 4 tenths. But you still have to wonder who comes to pit road and if so when. Brandon Cattell, remember him? Oh, he has dropped all the way back to what looks to now be the 19th position. I'm not going to say he's in no man's land. He's got company behind. That's Barroso and others. Here's the fight for the lead. Clampett underneath All. Here comes Matheson to the outside. Matheson a shove to Dylan All. He's got him. Right where he needs him. Jake Matheson, the heave. Race lead at 1. He's possibly not going to have it off 2. Yes, he is with the right off. Maybe not. Draws even with Dylan All. The way that car just ran up the racetrack showed to be troublesome. 4 drivers in a bind. Sky only wants it to make 5. Inside, outside, this is the view from 5th. This is the view from 4th. Nichols up the speedway. Clampett trying to hold his ground, hold his zone in 3rd. As Dylan Alt sits in the 2nd position. Jake Matheson went up there and took the race lead. He struggled through turn 2. But he's got that 47 cleared. The question is now for how long? Clampett to the bottom. All in the tire tracks of Jake Matheson. And Logan Clampett will continue to try to inch away on the bottom side of the racetrack. League night in America, area night in America, no matter how you want to call it, it's what you see currently on your screen. 3 drivers, nose to tail, 4th and 5th, just about 5/10 back. Logan Clampett shuffles the deck once more. He now re-leads at Homestead. And man, oh man, Dylan All. Every time he has a shot at taking the race lead back and pulling away, someone goes up there and takes it right from his hands. And we've seen Clampett already pull away to a sizable lead. I don't think Alt wants that to happen once more. 5 drivers, 8 tenths. Look at the fight for the 7th and 8th position. Peyton Howell, Adam Cabot. You start wondering when drivers will make their way to pit road. Some are thinking about making it on a one-stop strategy. Now with 50 to 60 laps to go, you should be able to go the rest of the way. So, whose short pits, who long pits, and whose strategy will work out the best? Clampett on a ride. Caution on the speedway. And we believe it's for an incident deeper in the field. Tyler Nichols back there in 42nd. Ryan Swan back in 41st in the Rick's Hot Sauce machine. And no update just yet on who was involved in the incident. But with 73 laps to go, the caution is out for the 3rd time. Man, oh man, oh man. Was it getting dicey up there? Towards the front half of this field. Dylan Alt having a heck of a show. Alt, John Ramos, you got a copy.
What's up?
Solid rock driver. It has been a heck of a racer coming to pit road this time by. What needs to change for you to find a way around Logan Clampett?
I just need a green flag, man. I feel like I have a lot of long run speed. I think 3 of the 4 of us, it was Jake, Matheson, and Nichols, and Clamp, we were all just brawling. And I feel like once you're the leader, you can't drive off the corner, you have no rear grip at all. So all I was trying to do there when I was behind Clamp, I was just trying to rear grief him, get him loose off the corner, make his tires get hot, and then once we had like 15 laps left of fuel, then I would start flying. But yeah, I feel like it's just a mind game right now.
72 laps to go. That's borderline, right? From you guys making it to the end. Are we under a fuel lottery? I hear you saving. And that's all we need to know.
You kind of cut out, so I didn't know if I lost you or what.
Sorry about that. Fuel lottery. Are we under a fuel lottery by chance?
I feel like some people are gambling for a long run to go to the end and save fuel, but I think no one's gonna make it all the way to the end. I feel like there's gonna be a caution. People are gonna. I think it's more about tires than it is fuel right now. It just gets really, really loose, so I feel like someone's gonna wreck. But yeah.
10-4 on that. That's still an alt, ladies and gentlemen. We found out that it's McKinney that went around. Blaze McKinney there in 87. Some drivers coming back to pit road. Let's see if we can get a replay and see exactly what happened. There it is on screen. A little bit loose down there in turn 2. Slides back up the track and locks her down halfway down the backstretch. 3 times we've seen the yellow flag tonight. The excitement has been really high throughout this race. It has been a treat to watch, and these drivers still can't go the rest of the way. Guaranteed one more pit stop before the end, as we restart with 70 laps to go here in round 2 of the Area Cup Series from Homestead-Miami Speedway. So we ask you back home, who's going to win it? Clampett, Alt, Nichols, Scioli. We see Matheson get bold as well. Back underway from South Florida. Clampett the leader. The question will be now for how long? Alt just to the left side. Pulls underneath and deep into turn 1. Drives way up the racetrack, up near the outside wall. Dylan Alt thundering back to the race lead. Peyton Howell, 52, he's hanging out in third, has yet to lead a lap tonight. Scioli and others, they see the 3 wide in the mirror. There's Seth Knoll on the bottom. Knoll's in 6, and there's still 3 wide across the stripe. Jacob Brower. What can he do? It's in deep, down into turn 3. Jake Nichols under pressure from Clampett, under pressure from Bauer. The comers and goers throughout this race has been a delight. But for Peyton Howell, a new one up in the scene to see if he can catch that 47. One sideways, Jonathan Evans up near the outside retaining wall. Did he fully go around? I don't think so. There he is now on screen. And a lot of damage to his right front. Watch the replay. 26. Lined up with Cottle. Up near the outside wall, Seth Knoll in the middle. And just got loose coming off exit. Everyone scatters to avoid, and we stay green. This is the fight for third. Brower, Matheson. Behind them, Jake Nichols. John Hall, 5th and 6th. As the action continues to transcribe around the Speedway. This is what area is all about. You want more area action? We're back March 24th at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. That being round 3 of the Area Cup Series. 65 laps to go left in this race. Peyton Howell is on the burner. He has found his way just about under half a car length to Dylan Hall. Exciting racing, and it's not stopping. Howell underneath Hall. Brower has set the hook. He's reeled the top 2 in. Same with Matheson. And I honestly think Dylan Hall has had to deal with almost everybody that's been in the top 10 today that has at least somewhat found the top 5. Why is that? Because they've all found their way fighting for the race lead. New leader here in the Area Cup Series at Homestead. Welcome Peyton Howell, top of the board. And we want to thank our sponsors, as always, keeping this league going. rickshotsauce.com. Head over to rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauce made locally in South Florida. Try their classics like the Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, and South Beach Heat. Visit Rick's Hot Sauce on their social media pages and follow the Rick Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year Battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home the $100 prize for the highest finishing rookie in the standings. Always fun to watch, listen, and hear what drivers think, but we're also very grateful for the sponsors that come on board, as they have put on a heck of an opportunity for us to have the shows on hand. We all know Ryan Swan running the Rick's Hot Sauce machine. And that number 20 as the top 2 works its way around the Speedway. Swan back in the 36th spot, not having the night he wants. Back there with Justin Anasogak, back there with Senesac and Ben Pierce. For some drivers, there's tracks that they go to and they know they're going to go out and compete. There's others that look at the schedule and say, I'm going to compete at every racetrack. There's others that look at 3 or 4 races saying that's their best, and others are just trying to get through that week. But with an ever-changing track, sun ever so slightly setting, and rubber being placed well around this speedway, you're seeing things that continue to change, like comers and goers for the race lead. Brower, I remember when I said he stopped the bleeding, he's kind of in trouble, half a second back. Here comes Dylan Hall to the inside. Thunder's back, top of the board. Howell the crossover. And also trying to get to that back bumper. Fights for 3rd and 4th. Matheson, Brower, what's going on for 5th? Rush hour. Like the Palmetto Expressway at 5 o'clock. Hall, Nichols, Scioli, Seth Knoll and others. Inside, outside, shuffling, swing. Knoll catches the wall, and so does Cabot. Around goes the 34. Patrick Moose gets Connor Horn and others. Caution's gonna wave. Fourth yellow out in this race. Man, oh man, oh man. And what is that going to leave for the rest of this field? Watch back on a replay. Moose, Horn. Go for a heck of a slide. I just don't think there was enough room there. Between Cabot's 17 and the Moose 34. Now you can look up from the blimp cam and see exactly what transcribed once more. How about this view? There's Cabot going to the outside of Seth. Knoll just, I would say, pinched himself in the wall. And then comes off the safer barrier into that 34 machine. Drivers scatter to get out of the way. But nonetheless, the caution still was displayed. 56 laps to go. They should, in theory, be able to go the rest of the way. And look who's top of the board. Brandon Cattell in the number 80. Has yet to lead a lap of this race. Will, in theory, be able to do it now as he crosses the stripe. But remember, early on, he was up inside that top 4, top 5, having a great deal of fun. And now is planned to lead us to the green flag. Did he take 2 tires? I wouldn't be shocked if that was the call. Service and a Sogak. Barroso behind them. Dylan Alt, Payne Howell, and others. Unbelievable stuff. Let's hear from Anna Sogak. Sogak, Sean Ramos, you got a copy. Quickly, what was the call there? 2 tires staying out?
Stayed out.
Stayed out, all right. Do you think you're good to go to the end, or are you banking on another caution?
Probably another caution to get tires, but I'm good with gas.
All right, heck yeah. Going to keep an eye on you. Are the drivers in front of the same boat?
Yes.
All right, top 4 staying out for all the viewers watching back at home. Good luck. That's Anna Sogak in 88. No, you got to try something bold. You got to make something work. How do you do that? Try something mostly others aren't doing. Cattell, Service, Anna Sogak, Barroso. The Fast 4 with 54 laps remaining from Homestead-Miami Speedway. And for some, they're already stuck. Barroso on the outside, back to 6th. Brandon Cattell holds on to the race lead. Dylan Alt took no time to find his way into 2nd. Max Service, Peyton Howell, and Sogak still holding his own in 3rd. All and Cattell. Turns 3 and 4. See that slide coming off turn 3. Peyton Howell, the switch back for Jake Matheson. Can Matheson cross the bow? Cannot. Howell the move off turn 2. And they're fighting that good fight. Howell went from being in the struggle bus back in about 3rd or 4th to contending for the 2nd position. 51 to go. And just when Dylan Alt wanted to get away, doesn't look to be. Cattell Inches off the outside wall. Swipes to the inside, the deep sea dive. Washes up the track, gets into the door of the 47. And here comes Peyton Howe, thundering his way off turn 4. Matheson in 4th. Arrives on the scene. Peyton Howe, new race leader. And if you ever wondered why people thought and know that area is the greatest series on iRacing for the leagues, this is why. And this is why they've come to this channel. Action-packed racing in front of a great crowd. 49 laps to go from Miami. League night in America, oh my goodness. Dylan Alt, P2. Jacob Bauer, should I say, back in 5th. Blaze McKinney in 7th. Nichols in 10th. Scioli in 11th. Brochu, Beckner, Bailey Turner in that 15th position. Now sizing up with Brandon Bowie. And Nichols, who led a good portion of this race. Well, I wouldn't say a good portion. Led 4 laps of this race, but was up front for most of it. Back in 10th. Caution out on the speedway. And it could be for Cosmin Yonashinu. And that of Josh Connell. Barrett Polimis as well. And Jonathan Evans. 5th caution of this race, and oh my goodness, it was getting wild again. What happened? Polimis, Yonashinu. I think Barrett just came down, and look out. We'll have to catch another view, but the 2-car incident sparks the 5th caution of the race. Let's take a peek just once more. This from the blimp. Yonashinu slightly washing up into 1 and 2. I mean, I halfway also want to say Barrett Polimis ran out of room. He was stuck on the left rear quarter panel of the machine in front of him. Once more for good measure. And we're going to back it up once again. I think it's... I mean, Yonashinu was coming up. Polimis does inch down just at that last moment. But a tough racing deal deeper in this field to bring the caution out for the 5th time. 46 laps to go, and Peyton Howe has got to be saying, oh, you are serious right now. How does that happen with what is in store? Hunter Sleppy, John Ramos, you got a copy.
Absolutely.
These drivers have been insane. What's the talk been like?
So Polimis, on that most recent one, he was trying to exclaim over the radio that it was the 8 of Matthew Bell. He came down into him, and from the angles I've seen, it looked like that's what it was. I miscalculated who the 24 car was. I got confused. It was Cosmin Yonashinu. He's saying that the damage is terminal and that he might be calling it a night. Been surfing throughout the channels. Most of them are calm, not too much to report on. Guys still just trying to get dialed in and focus on the run to the end.
All right, hey, 45 laps to go. I mean, we've had 5 cautions in this race, but you haven't been able to see the top 3, top 5 pull away from each other, let alone pulling away from the drivers 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th. Has anyone been talking about that and how this aero package has really put the pressure on the top 3?
They've just been fighting on corner exit whenever they get too tight, especially in the beginning portion of the run. They can't really turn down on the racetrack. Like if someone's loose on their outside or if they're too tight in, they can't turn down immediately because there's not enough warmth in the tires. So just trying to get that focused for the next restarts or so.
All right, getting ready for the restart just one more time. 5 cautions in the books. Dylan Alt has seen everyone cycle through that top 3. That's been a competitor thus far. 44 to go from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Matheson just finding the edge. Sneaking just in front of Cattell. Clampett, Brower, Hall, and Cabot. .43 to go. And just see how wide this track has gone, including with the restarts. Trouble spinning deeper in the field. And that's one into the inside wall. It may have been, if I'm not mistaken, Ricky Springer. It was, and the caution away for the 6th time. Otto may have had a piece of it. And it will size up yet another restart. Man, oh man, oh man, have things been getting dicey. It was when the 85 got loose coming off corner exit. Look to have sparked the wreck. Let's watch it once more. Lee Norton. Stuck backwards down the backstretch. Bringing the caution out once again. It's been rough. It's been grueling. It's been interesting. A complete switch from what we saw back at Daytona 2 weeks ago. And now at 41 laps to go in this race, this is where we stand. How Alt Matheson will continue to chime on in with drivers. But man, oh man, has this been a race to go ahead and watch. We've already talked to Alt. We have yet to talk to Matheson. Who should we go ahead and chime on in with? I'd say we have to talk to Jake Matheson, another solid rock performance driver. Matheson, John Ramos, you got a copy?
Yo, what's up?
We've talked back and forth before, never in area. You have been making up a lot of ground throughout this entire race. Now here you are inside the podium position. Talk to me how this car is running and what you need to do to break through for the win.
Well, track's definitely tightening up. It's feeling better throughout the race, which is nice. Unfortunately, it's kind of a tire lottery at this point with the way how many tire sets we had and how many laps we have to go, where the yellows are falling. So it's kind of a toss-up right now for anybody. I mean, people back in 18th, 17th, if they got an extra set at the end, they're going to win. So, you know, it's up in the air right now, but feels solid, looks good. Guys up front here are racing pretty clean, so it's been good so far.
You won this race back in Season 5. What are the differences and the challenges from that event to this one?
Oh, well, this one, for one, drives entirely differently with this Homestead rescan. So track's different, cars feel a little bit different, and the competition is quite a lot different as well. A lot of new names up front this season. So it's definitely very competitive. It's really anybody's game right now. So, well, we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. Good luck.
Thank you.
And that is Jake Matheson racing once again for Solid Rock up inside the top 3 as we get ready for the restart. And accidentally just put him in the wrong chat at that. Let's go ahead and throw him on up to solid rock. Here we go, 40 laps to go at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Howell, Alt, Matheson, top 3, Clampett, Brower, Gattel, top 6. We've seen them shuffle multiple times. What's next in store? Or should we say Peyton Howell pulling away, all in Matheson the fight for second. And look at Jake Nichols to the outside, just trying to squeeze his way through. Every lane in store. Drivers trying to net gain in the final moments. And also trying to net gain before this track really starts spreading on out with the pack. Howell all back together. They're ready to go at it. Clampett, Matheson. You just heard Matheson say this is going to be a tire lottery, not a fuel lottery, which means conserving tires and how these cautions really do fall could be the difference between first and even sixth. Jake Nichols, like he's done since the start, ripping top. That top 2, it's not going anywhere. Alt versus Howell. And they're absolutely just on top of each other. Clampett closing that gap as well. Matheson hasn't moved from 4th. Hall hasn't moved from 5th. Travis Beckner's under fire. That's Jacob Brower in the 48 machine. The heave to turn 3. "35 laps to go. The chess match is on. Brower, Beckner, 7th and 8th. Jake Nichols, biggest mover since the restart. And I mean, nobody is stopping that 73 spin back straightaway. Bailey Turner, Max Service, and a couple others. Caution is out once more. And it will set up yet another restart. Man, oh man, oh man. Let's take a look and see exactly what happened. This was deeper on in the pack. You see it right off the gun. The 70 machine going around, that being Hayden Swank. Watch again. Swank on the bottom. Oh yeah, he got help. Bailey Turner, the winner of the Area 500 this year, got into the 70 and around he went. So the caution is out again. Pit road is wide open. Some electing to stay out, others electing to come in. The big talking point, where are the Fords? Now there's just one up inside the top 20. And we asked you, the viewers back at home, That question, we have to consider it. Do we see an overtime finish? From caution-free round 1 to multiple cautions here in round number 2. Howell, Alt, Clampett, Matheson, now Nichols. I would say that is the fastest 5 we have seen tonight. Minus maybe a Scioli who's been in the mix. We've seen Moose up there at one point. Noel up inside the top 10. But this top 5 has been the top 5. Bayard Howell, as of late, has been strong. Alt, Clampett, Matheson, and Nichols has proven to be strong. And with 32 laps to go, we'll be restarting with 31. A lot still very much on the line. We asked the viewers, will we see overtime? 93% said yes. For the Enter Night in America viewers, yes. The cautions are flown differently from what we see on a Tuesday or a Friday compared to Area. Area has their command center. They have multiple officials around the track checking in, and they throw cautions a little bit different than what you'd see in an e-ticket event or even Enter Night in America. The officiating separate from the Enter Night side. The only thing that intertwines Area with Enter Night in America, the broadcasting and the great viewers back home. I say only as in like it's only something. No, it's everything. Everything else officiating wise goes through the Area company and the Area League. Howell, Alt, Clampett, Matheson, Nichols, Beckner, Brower, Cabot, Scioli, McKinney lining out that top 10. Restart once more from Homestead-Miami Speedway. Deep drive, 4 wide, McKinney rips the outside lane. Scioli on the bottom. Brower trying to make a move. 3 wide for the race lead. Dylan All, Howell and Clampett. Howell is able to clear. Matheson catching the wall. And here comes Jake Nichols breathing down the back end of the Camry. Howell and Clampett. Alt and Matheson. McKinney, Scioli, 3 wide it is. And with 29 laps to go, the Fast 5. Half a second the difference. .29 to go. Howell, Nichols, 4th and 5th. Watching on from the nose, Travis Beckner. What racing we have seen tonight. Sky Star becoming a VIP member once more for 8 straight months. As you all continue to watch the fight. Once again, Clampett was the only driver that truly got away from the rest of the field. But 18, maybe almost 2 tenths. That's not a lot to be overly proud about. Knowing one thing, you have Dylan Alt, Matheson, and Howell, who have caught Clampett before under a full second. 26 to go. Jake Matheson, P3. And mostly the top 5, top 6 are into the inside part of the track, deeper in the field near Schaefer and Brochu. It's tight, it's agile, and it's a war zone from about the 13th position on back. Everyone trying to jump up a spot, climb the ladder, while the 6th and 7th positions are more about, okay, how do we size up and go for this win? Look at how loose, I believe it was Brochu getting off turn number 2. Matthew Bell sizing up a drive, sizing up a move. Reese Schaefer in the 16th position. .24 laps to go. Matheson under pressure. Got to turns 3 and 4. McKinney, 3 wide outside. You see Okresik back there in 8th. In the calmest part of this field, a little deeper, Cottle, Hall, McKinney. That's where you saw the 3 wide action. Logan Clampett has just over a 4/10 lead, and it is growing as Dylan Alt looks to find speed in the latter half of this race. Matheson a 10th back to Alt. Projected to be a fight for position. Now you get Jake Matheson around the Dylan Alt machine. It could get interesting. And Alt's got company even more. Paying Howe, Jake Nichols. We talked about Nichols. 2-time winner at Homestead with the Area Cup Series. Jake Matheson won back in Season 5. This being Season 7, Logan Clampett wants to be added to that list. Matheson at 3rd. Here's 4th and 5th. Howell and Nichols. Howell will run off exit. Alt's trying to defend. I think Matheson wants it. And instead of waiting for later, he wants it now. Howell underneath. Nichols, top side of the racetrack. You see these drivers, they send in a heave, they send in that move, trying to lock in the spot, trying to make it work. And then when they get off exit, all the momentum that they had on entry dissipates. Jake Nichols, other plan, give up all that room on entry and have the roller coaster ride off exit. Homestead-Miami Speedway, long straightaways, very tight corners, progressive banking. That's where you see multiple drivers run that outside lane. Payne Howell. He's not out of the woodwork. Nichols again. And he saw how deep he went in there. Broke extremely late, it felt like. Way later than the 52. I think it may just work out. Nichols pulled alongside that time, now headed to turn 1. Jake Matheson, P3. Dylan Alt, P2. What to do with what you have. "16 laps to go for Logan Clampett. Deeper in the field, 3 wide. Travis Beckner dropping back. Adam Cabot with a move up of a position. Seth Knoll. Knoll hanging out at 13th, 14th. And I don't think that's stopping anytime soon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 machines on the inside, 3 to the outside. 8 cars deep within maybe about 3 or 4 tenths of each other. Cattell there with Beckner. You saw the 80 machine get up and into the wall. "15 laps to go from Homestead-Miami Speedway. You're watching round 2 of the Area Cup Series. We'll be back next Monday at 8:45 Eastern, 7:45 Central with round number 3 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This season has been off to a great start. 2 races completely different from each other. A caution-free Area 500 to now a multi-caution race at Homestead, keeping things tight. Remember the tire lottery that was mentioned by Jake Matheson. Dylan All, I believe, may have just peaked at a 5/10 difference to that of Logan Clampett. Keep an eye on the intervals. A half a tenth gain, a full 10th gain, that makes a difference. And with 13 laps to go, the pendulum has swung back in favor of the 47. A full 10th advantage from lap 126 to 127. And oh man, have these drivers been on it. Does it again. What was a 4/10 disadvantage, 2 tenths. Dylan All is on the scene. And he's going to have a good bit of time to work with them. Now here's the thing, if Alt goes toe-to-toe with Logan Clampett, that allows Matheson to close in, Nichols to close in, even Howell. And don't expect Logan Clampett to give it up so easily. This could be the pass for the win. Matheson is already there. Half a second back, gained 2 tenths, just in about a lap, maybe a lap and a half. Alt the move to the inside, Clampett to defend. Barrett Polimas in 79 out of harm's way. 10 laps to go from South Florida. Clampett blocks top, can't block bottom. Dylan Alt to the inside to turn 1. He's got it cleared, but washes well up the speedway. Clampett back on the bottom. Sideways off turn 2. Sends in a heave, turns 3 and 4, lay it on each other up the speedway. Alt can't clear, now tries to force it. Clampett back to the outside, to the inside. The chess match for the win in round 2, and this is what area is all about. Don't look now, Jake Matheson is there. Two Chevrolets, a Toyota, and if this doesn't get separated soon, you're going to have John Hall trying to close it out from 4th. 8 to go. Matheson forced to check up. Clampett lost all the heave to the center of the corner. And that momentum change really stopped any pressure from Alt down the backstretch. 4 drivers under a blanket, 7 to go. Clampett in third. John Hall whipping top and fourth. Slams the back bumper. You tell Matheson does not want that 03 to steal this show. Hall has not led a single lap tonight. On the cusp of greatness. Up to second, 6 to go. And one of the rookies will be going for the race lead underneath Dylan Alt. 8 wins in the Truck Series out of 32 starts. Now center stage to turn 3. John Hall, can you believe it? 5 laps to go and passes 3 drivers in 2 laps. Dylan Alt led so much of this race, knows it's not over, but needs something to go back his way. 45 laps of the 136 that have currently been gone. Clampett, 52 of the 136. Matheson got 3. Hall gets his first, now his second of laps being led with just 4 to go. They questioned, will league racing work on the IDK Player YouTube channel? Will it work with the United America community? 2 races back to back where you just did not know what the next 30 seconds were going to offer. And with 3 laps to go, it's now John Hall leading this race. And what a shakeup this is going to make on the playoffs. Alt not gaining. Nearly 4 tenths back. Matheson back to third. Clampett back to fourth. What looked to be a surefire shot of an opportunity for second, third, and fourth. Here comes the 03 trying to close it out. 2 to go. Connor O'Kresick a move up the 5th. Jake Nichols back to 6th. Patrick Moose, another rookie, looking for a top 8. The racing has been spectacular. The drivers have been spectacular. This Monday night has been electric. 4 tenths back from all. Needs a mistake. Salamanca, 1 to go for John Hall. Is this the season of the underdogs? Bailey Turner, who went into the area 500 with an average finish of 18th, won that race. John Hall, in the final 5 laps at Homestead, passed 3 drivers, the veterans at that, to win one for the rookies. First Area Cup Series victory comes in Miami. John Hall victorious. Alt finishes second. Jake Matheson finishes third. Clampett P4. A great comeback for Connor O'Kresick P5. Jake Nichols went from the back to the front to the back to the front to finish in 6th. Don't you just love a good story? Because Homestead showed it off. League Night in America, feeling victories all year long, and John Hall will burn it down for the first time on top of the league racing world with the Area Cup Series going to victory lane in Miami. And what a race it was. The excitement through the roof, no doubt about it, from lap 1 to lap 140, and we get to talk to your race winner. John Hall going to victory lane. We'll talk with him in just a matter of moments. And you'll wonder just what was needed for Dylan Olin and others to go ahead and try to find their way through. And we get to speak with him. John Hall, John Ramos, welcome to victory lane in the Area Cup Series.
Dude, I don't even know how that happened. I was banking on so many yellows after that caution came out there. I had no thought in my brain we were going green to the end there, but with about 10 to go, I knew I had a shot, and I was just praying the yellow wasn't coming at that point, and just can't say thank you enough to everybody at SRP for having me on this year. I didn't think I was going to win that race with the way it started, so I'm super stoked to win this thing.
Got a great crowd watching back at home. Everyone wondering what that top four was going to do, and you just came in and closed it out. You weren't talked about for the first 135 laps, and you said you were banking on cautions. Tire lottery, that's what Matheson said. Were you conserving most of this race?
Yeah, I was trying to save my tires the entirety of that race there, and I was always coming back in the long run. It's just, it never materialized there to get a long enough run to where it would show up, and I kind of just said screw it there with 30 to go and came down for the last set and just prayed on no more yellows or hope I would have track position at the end when everybody else took their final set. But yeah, played the tire lottery and I won it tonight. So
those viewers are going crazy for you. What do you want to say to them?
Oh, thanks guys for coming out and watching the series. Area's been exploding recently, and I'm super happy to win this second race of the year, and hope you guys keep tuning in for more great racing like that. So thanks guys.
Plan on running the full season, correct?
Oh yes sir, I'm in it for the full year.
Then welcome to the area playoffs. We can't wait to see how that goes down, and maybe you'll compete for a championship. You just won, I know it's a big deal, but do you now look at the rest of the year and saying, oh yeah, we're gonna have a big shot at hoisting the trophy at the end of the season?
Oh, that's always the hope, man. Yeah, I'm just happy to lock myself in this early. It's definitely relief off the shoulders for sure, so.
Heck yeah at that. Gonna be fun to see how that all goes. John Hall, congratulations on your win here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, and we'll get ready to continue to follow you throughout the rest of this 2025 season.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
We'll continue to talk with drivers and see who else to come on. Hunter Sleppy, let's talk with you. You were going in and out of the chats. What were they saying in the final moments?
Yeah, I was in the Powerhouse Discord when, actually, no, not the Powerhouse Discord, sorry. It was the, what was it? I was in the Discord of the channel when everything was going ablaze. Everyone down there between Dylan Alt, Jake Matheson, John Hall, they were getting eager. They were getting excited. Connor Kresick was yelling, saying, keep battling. I want to get in there. I want to join it. So it was fun there. And then at the very end, John Hall just exploded. He was just like, no way this is happening. And then everyone was congratulating him. Little comments between Peyton Howell and Connor Kresick afterwards, where contact was made in turn 4. Talked about it after the race. So they're fine on that for the most part. Everyone was just dialed in, just trying to make it to the finish. But in the end, it was John Hall getting the job done, and that was exciting to hear.
Dylan Alt, you finished P2. Oh man, it's gut-wrenching knowing how many laps you led, and you were up inside the top 5 the entire race. You saw everyone that went to compete for the race lead at one point come and go. P2, it's gotta feel sweet knowing you got some points, but you gotta still feel some type of way finishing one spot behind first.
Yeah, I know I'm just going to take this race as a ton of momentum throughout the season. I showed pace. I learned a lot, actually, from that race to prepare for Coke. I know it was hard being the leader since you didn't want anyone on your rear end to just get loose off the corner. I know on that last restart, I made a mistake where I just took it 3 wide and went for it, tried to run a slider line, and then did not work out at all, and ended up just bowling through the entire field, it felt like. So mistake on my end, but it was good. Finished second. Not to be mad or anything. I had a teammate win, so I'm glad John won. And yeah, gotta thank Rafe and also solid rock performance. Also, yeah.
Heck yeah! At the end of the day, they talked about you nonstop for 135 laps. No win yet, but you know it's coming. What's the outlook to New Hampshire?
New Hampshire, I love flat tracks, so and also like short tracks too. So I feel like if I just stay up in the front of the field like I did this race and stay out of the mess, I feel like I could actually get a win there. And yeah, we'll see.
Heck yeah! Congratulations, P2. That being for Dylan Alt, Jake Matheson. We spoke with him earlier on the show. Or should we say, let alone in the broadcast. Tires, it was going to mean something. You predicted it right. What did you need to do?
I needed to make the same call John made. I mean, he made a bold strategy. What was that, like 30 to go-ish? And just drove through the field and won it. I mean, like I said, I called it from a while back, so that was going to happen. But other than that, Dylan, bad fast all day, Logan all day, just super fast, super fun to race with. And I liked it because towards the end the bottom started to cool off a little bit, so if you wrapped the apron it actually got a little bit of turn out of it, which was, you know, kind of played into me running so well there towards the end. But it was good, it was fun. Homestead always puts on a good show, so just want to thank Timmy for bringing me on this season on LVV Racing. And you know, I'm only doing a part-time schedule, so we'll be back for the next one whenever it is.
Heck yeah, that will be at New Hampshire next week for our third race. Jake, great to see you come on in. We know you've won here at Homestead before, but P3, not a bad way to finish off this night.
Definitely not a bad way to start off my season, at least. But I want to thank you mainly for putting on this show. We lost our main broadcaster last season. So you coming on and taking this is a huge up, and thanks everyone for watching. And we'll see you at the next one.
Jake, I'm going to let you know, I think they have caught the area bug. It is non-stop entertainment in that live chat.
Absolutely. It's always a good one. You're never going to have a boring area race.
Heck yeah. Congratulations in that top 3 podium. Hunter, we're going to run through the finishing results before we continue to chat on about how this race went. To the viewers watching back, let's look at it. John Hall, Dylan Alt, Jake Matheson. That ended up being the top 3. Logan Clampett, Connor O'Kresick being the top 5 as they continue to wind on down. Jake Nichols, Patrick Moose, and I know I called them Moose earlier. Apologies to the Patrick Moose family that was watching back at home. Josh Connell, James Scioli with Adam Cabot lining out that top 10. Continuing to roll on through as we get to 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. Seth Knoll, Michael Curran, Payne Howe, and Reese Schaefer with Brandon Cattell, Hayden Swank, Brett Punkari, Connor Horn, Jacob Brower, and Matthew Bell being that top 20. Bryce Sinasak, Frankie Barroso, Justin Anasogak, Ricky Springer, Max Service with Garrett Grant, Ryan Swan, Tyler Nichols, Sam Brochu, Jerry Miller being the top 30. Ed Robertson, Travis Beckner, Seth Berger, Blaze McKinney, Ben Pierce, Barrett Polinas, Jonathan Evans, Bailey Turner, Brandon Bowie, and Lee Norton being the top 40, with Cosmin Yonashinu, Tanner Betha, Philip Groner being the top 43, and 44th on back, the drivers that failed to qualify for tonight's race at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Back to our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. Man, oh man, Hunter, what a race. Did you expect it to go that way?
I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting a late caution to bunch everything up and send it into overtime, but was a thrilling race nonetheless. Throughout the race, there were different battles and different stages of the pack. A lot of butthurt drivers towards the rear of it, seemed where it happened most of the time, but towards the front, some great racing, 3-wide, 4-wide action, different strategies, trading paints here and there. It was fun. It was classic Homestead. Very interesting in seeing how next week goes at New Hampshire. Been a while since we raced there. I think that was back in season 1, maybe season 2. But nonetheless, it'll be interesting going from 1.5 miles to a flat 1 mile oval.
Heck yeah, indeed. We always tell you there should be a reason at the end of the broadcast to tune in next week. I can't ask for a better reason than what you saw from the Area 500 and now Homestead-Miami Speedway. New Hampshire in the Magic Mile will be bringing us a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. Before we leave, I talked about it really early. Penalty points. What are penalty points? Who has penalty points? And how can they that affect the rest of the season?
Yeah, so penalty points, it's pretty much if someone's at fault for a yellow, they get a 1 or 2 point penalty depending on what they do. So if you're the cause of a caution, that's plus 2 points for you. Intentionally wrecking someone's plus 3 points, you don't want to do that. So I mentioned earlier on, I think Bailey Turner, actually Peyton Howell has 2 points. He was the cause of a caution. Bailey Turner at some point had 2 penalty points for his monitor going out. I'm not sure if that was documented or not, but his monitor went out and then came back and the wreck had happened, so he got 2 points there. Philip Groner's got 2 points as well. So if you have 1 penalty point, you only get a warning. 2 to 3 penalty points, you get an EOL at the start of the next race. So it doesn't matter if you qualify on pole or if you qualify 30th, you start at the back immediately. 4 to 5 points, that's where it starts to get a little dicey. You get a drive-through penalty under green at the beginning of the next race. 6 to 8 points, you're on probation for the rest of the season and you're suspended for the next week. And then if you have 9 or more penalty points, you're disqualified for the remainder of the season, and you have to start fresh next year.
Wow. Man, okay. So, something to note for those viewers watching back at home. We're going to be talking about penalty points, I think, a good bit heading into New Hampshire. What a race, what a night. The second round of area, and it's not going anywhere. We can't wait for you guys to see that championship battle roll well into the late half of July. I'm John Ramos. That's Hunter Sleppy, our pit reporter. Oh boy, tune in next week. We're not done with the action. For the Enter Night in America viewers, I'll see you tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, right here to continue going through all the new iRacing updates. And so long and good night here from Homestead.